Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. So several people have asked me to look at Linux Mint Cinnamon 18.2, and I thought that rather than installing it on a VirtualBox, I'd just go ahead and update my main computer system, my main web design laptop onto up to this version. So upgrading from a previous version of Linux Mint Cinnamon will have a couple of differences versus if you completely install it. One of those is being the desktop manager would be different, and the other is the kernels, both of which you can actually change if you want to, and there are instructions for that. But basically for me, I started this computer up on 17.3, and I upgraded it to 18.0 because I could not get this particular configuration. I could not get OpenVPN to work, and so I upgraded to 18.0. I don't know, several months back, probably about 6 months back is what I think. And with 18.0 running, then OpenVPN worked and everything was running great. Except there does seem to be this small problem with the system, and that is that if you are running, if you have upgraded from a 17.3 to an 18.0, a lot of people say that the system takes a long time to load or to boot, and I do find that. So I'm thinking maybe I should wipe the drive and reinstall it and just fix that boot time. So I went ahead and just decided I'd go ahead and upgrade to 18.2, and if it's a colossal failure, then I'll just wipe the whole thing and put 18.2 back on it. And I've only booted it up a couple times since I've put 18.2 on it here earlier today, and so I can't really say for sure if the system is a whole lot faster or maybe it's about the same. But I'll just walk through real quick. Just doing the instructions online, the blog post will from Cinnamon will actually tell you how to go ahead and do your update, and we'll kind of walk through that real quick. So here's the blog post from Linux Mint to walk you through setting up the update. And this is exactly how it works. You just need to come into your update manager down here. It might be a little bit smaller for yours. I think I made mine full screen there. And then what you want to do is just make sure you have your refresh set up, and then come down here under your edit. And what you would actually see down here is you'd have an extra item down here, and it says upgrade to Linux Mint. Now, in my case, I was on 18.0, and it doesn't go directly from 18.0 to 18.2. I had to go 18.0 to upgrade to 18.1, which actually only took 5 minutes. And then I rebooted the computer just to make sure there were no bugs, and then I went from 18.1 to 18.2, rebooted again. So after doing that update, all of this down here is extra stuff that was added on during that update process. But all you need to do is just click on that, and it will go through and just do the whole process, make sure everything works. Again, if you are upgrading, it will retain the previous version of Linux kernel that you are using. I'm just keeping my Linux kernel at 4.4, and the reason is every time I've attempted to upgrade to a higher kernel, it just breaks my VirtualBox, and I just don't have the time to go through and fix the VirtualBox right now. So I just go ahead and keep it there. If you do want to upgrade the kernels after you're doing that, then you can go to your view menu in your Linux kernels, and then this will show you all of the kernels that you have installed. And so you'll see here that this is my active one. I should probably go up to at least a higher of 4.4. But you can see 4.8 is what is now shipped with 18.2. You can go up to the 4.10 if you would like to do that. So it will retain the kernel that you're using. You can upgrade that if you are doing an upgrade like I am doing. So you can see this just following the instructions on the screen. It just takes a few minutes in my case. You will note that the other thing that it will not change is the desktop manager. So MDM is the older desktop manager that was shipped with previous versions. Now they're using Light DM. I actually like the old one, so I'm not going to bother changing that. So if I happen to upgrade to boot or create a new computer on 18.2, I'll just stick with whatever they give me because who needs it all that much? But regardless, it's something in there that you can do. So I have retained my Linux kernels. I have retained my Light DM. So other than that, you can look at the new features also on their blog. And really, I mean, not a lot's changed from the beta. I did the review of the beta for Linux Mint 18.2, and this is much the same. So we're not going to go through absolutely everything in fine detail. I just wanted to let you know that hey, the upgrade process works very well. The differences: Cinnamon 3.4 is installed. It changes how desktop icons are arranged. It actually reset all my desktop icon locations, which was a little bit of a pain, but that's okay. I was able to quickly fix those. You now have a whole lot more options. So I'll go ahead and show you that. If you right-click down here, there is now the desktop items here, and you can align to a grid. You can organize by name, by size. You can go horizontal or vertical, and then you can do smaller, normal, or larger desktop icon size down here. You can also auto-arrange. This was enabled by default. As soon as I installed it, it auto-enabled that, and then all my icons kind of piled up on the left side of the screen. So just go in, uncheck this, and then you can reset your icons. Now, you might have been able to do this in previous versions. I just don't remember. But you can see that my folders here are actually green. I'm using the basic default green colorations. But you can right-click a folder, and you can select the color. I think this might have been a feature before. I haven't used it in the past, so I wanted to highlight that just in case it is something new. Cinnamon spices, these are your applets that will control adding things to either the desktop or the panel. You can view those over in your settings menu and your applets. And really what has changed in the applets is, what has changed more than anything is the security. They've done a whole lot more security focus, just making sure that everything is good, everything is well maintained, and just to make sure that we're not going to get any crazy bugs, viruses, or anything else. Bluetooth support is also improved, and I actually had to go through and reinstall my Blueberry. I don't actually use Bluetooth with this computer, but it is an option. So you can see here that ultra thin touch mouse. I'm thinking I had plugged in my micro mouse to this computer a while back. But you can see that we have our settings over here. We can show the system tray. We can receive files from remote devices. So there is actually a Bluetooth file sharing application on Cinnamon as well. And if you have multiple things set up, then you will get a nice stacking tool here. They actually they highlight it down here just to show you how this guy works on your settings. And then, of course, there's just the basic changes. They've put in some more features and some more options in your basic text editor so that you can utilize some toolbars. There's now a side panel that you can use to adjust font sizes and things like that. I generally, if I want to do anything like that, I usually use LibreOffice. I just prefer my default text editor exclusively for like WordPad type stuff, if you are more familiar with the Windows system. The X Player is nice. I really do like the new X Player here. So here it is. What the major things is that they put the toolbars in line with the bar button over here. It basically frees up an extra line of space, which gives you more room on the screen here. So you can see if you get rid of your sidebar, your video is nearly full screen. We do have the full screen option, of course. And then what you can do pretty easily is under your movie properties, you can actually now see all the codecs information pretty well. And if you want to go back to the playlist, you can come down to the playlist and view the playlist. So those are some features that were very handy to have enabled in the new movie player. So I like that. That is a big bonus. I think I covered the pics in more detail on the beta. It's not an application I use on a regular basis. And of course, the update manager, they did improve a lot of things in the update manager. We already looked briefly at it, but you can change your, you can select your various level updates here. You can select which updates, select the kernel updates. So there's a whole lot of extra things that you can now do inside of the update manager. So they really have been making a lot of good improvements to this. Of course, when you first start it up, you will get your screen. What is the default level that you'd like to use? So that is the same. Here's your software sources, Light DM, and okay, so just a few other kind of procedural things. Brassario is still available in the repositories, but if you are doing a fresh install, then it will not be installed by default. I probably uninstalled it from this computer just because there is no CD drive on this one. The root account is locked by default, so you can use sudo on your own password account. So you can get into the root with the sudo I. But they did disable it, which is I think a better compromise than what I think they were doing in the beta, which was assigning it a random password. I don't know, maybe they're still doing that. I'm not sure. And then, of course, you can do your mark auto, mark manual commands. And then, of course, it does tell you here the kernel it ships with is 4.8. I am still on 4.4 because that's what it was, and it's not broken. I'm not going to try and fix it. Every time I tried to upgrade the kernels, it messed up my virtual boxes. And I need my virtual boxes on this computer. They actually run my servers. So that is just the brief walkthrough. Let's see, which is this one here? I think this is just a few release notes. You can check that out. So really not a lot has changed in the system from 18.0 to 18.2. A couple minor UI changes, all good UI changes. There's no reason I would not use this one. Is there any serious advantage to upgrading if you're on an older version? I'm not completely sure there's any serious advantage to upgrading. I haven't noticed any major differences here, and overall, though, I mean, I like the system. It's great. The upgrade was completely flawless. It took literally, I was expecting it to take a couple hours. It went from 18.0 to 18.1. It took less than 5 minutes. I think 18.1 to 18.2 was maybe 7 or 8 minutes. Everything else was retained. My defaults were retained. Actually, some of my other programs that were installed with deb packages were retained as well, and so that is actually good. I remember that's one of the things that happened when I went from 17.3 to 18.0. Is a lot of my older applications were uninstalled. I had to go reinstall things. So everything though is in order. The system is working nicely. It'll give it some time to see if I get any cinnamon crashes or anything like that. I'm not quite sure. I'm expecting a whole lot of anything negative there. But regardless, there we have 18.2. Excellent system. The upgrade was completely flawless from an older version. You might have to do all your upgrades in sequence. That's what I had to do, going from 18.0 to 18.1, 18.1 to 18.2. And so, but everything, it retained my icons. It retained everything, essentially. Everything I could tell. The only thing that changed was it did reset the locations and positions of my desktop icons. And that was really easy to fix. So that's my thoughts. Linux Mint 18.2. Also check out my beta version, my beta look at to see what that one looked like. And with that, thanks for watching. And I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.